the various...
Welcome to the basement. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the basement. I'm Nolo.
Jose.
And today we have a special guest. Want to introduce yourself?
Wilson. I wouldn't say special guest, though.
The most specialist of guests. He's a New York Times bestselling author.
Hopefully one day, maybe.
And today's topic is going to be the frogs turning gay.
See, when you throw things like that...
People are like, wait a minute. All right. Actually, what's the topic today?
We're talking about... Actually, the topic is... you actually came up with it.
Who's you? Yeah.
Wilson.
Yeah,
Mr.
good.
Wilson.
Well, because you know everybody's talking about Syria now. So, at least people are calling me like, oh, did you hear about what happened over there with the chemical explosion, bombing, whatever. So I thought I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine about that, and I tried to connect it to the Prime Directive. So if anybody would raise your hands and please explain to the class what the Prime Directive is, because I really can't do it.
Jose, that's on you. You're the...
Okay, so that part would be on me, but the other side of it, relating it to Syria, is like I have a few thoughts. I thought it was a dope idea. We actually talked about it. We were like, we did one of those. We were about to go into it. It was like we got to save it for the show. So basically, the Prime Directive is in the future after World War III and Russia destroys us.
This is not the actual future, though.
No, this is
because this sounds like the news.
This sounds like the news.
This sounds like the news.
No, so basically, it's based on the Star Trek show, and basically the Prime Directive is something that's developed after World War III, where humans become enlightened and go out, and once they discover that they're not alone in the universe, they go out to discover other alien races and find that there are certain rules that they have to implement.
And for the people that don't watch Star Trek, if you watch the series called Enterprise, they go into it on that series. They develop the Prime Directive along that series.
Exactly. So that'll give you a better understanding, or if you are interested in something like that. So basically, this directive has certain guidelines of what not to do in certain situations. So you had brought this up in relations. Why?
Well, I don't know. I was having that conversation, and I connected to a conversation I had with you, like a month ago now. So I remember I commented to my friend 2 days ago. I was saying, like, before, I used to think that the Prime Directive was just stupid. Like, just go in there and just solve problems. But then when you mature a little bit and you get more perspective, you realize, like, yeah, that's not how the world works. You can't just...
It's funny because remember I was saying before, Star Trek is like libertarian. Libertarian is very non-aggression. Like, whatever you do in your world, that's your business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're not going to just jump in there and attack or help or whatever. And you see that in Star Trek where there's like two warring factions and the Federation's like, yeah, we're not getting involved in this. And that's a very libertarian way of thinking.
Okay. So I guess my question is, how is this in relations to the situation that's going on? What in the Prime Directive do you think is, I guess, relative? I mean, not relative, but how it ties into this situation. Are you asking or saying that what the Prime Directive would do in this scenario if the Irans were an alien race?
The Irans?
The Iranians?
The Syrians.
I'm thinking Star Trek.
You got your aliens mixed up.
I got my aliens mixed up.
I'm sorry. We're speaking of an actual alien race. See, here's the thing. I watch Star Trek. I like it. I'm not going to say I'm a big fan like both of you, but I enjoy it. Like I like it for what it is and like some of the concepts. So how would I tie it into that? Is like, well, okay, the U.S. is a really powerful state and Syria not so much. So I'm wondering, okay, why is it that we have this constant trend of just going into countries and just saying, hey, we know what's best for you, how to develop you to like a new stage of like society, and it usually doesn't end up that way, right? That's the Prime Directive, right? Like that whole concept that the episodes are lined up that they're trying to find a way of how to solve a dispute in a less developed society without actually like interfering it with its development. Right? Is that it? Is that the
So that's part of it. So what we later humans discover is that we can't just it would be inappropriate to, and they call it the bronze. There are different ages: the Bronze Age, the Gold Age, the Warp Age. And what they decided was that we shouldn't mess with aliens that still don't know how to fly or drive.
Right.
And one of those, and the baseline in that theory is that any race that isn't able to travel faster than the speed of light, warp, we shouldn't mess with them. Let them still develop.
Right.
Just, let them be. See if they get it. And sometimes if they don't get it and their planet's in, their sun is going to explode, the Prime Directive says we can't interfere even in that situation.
Yeah, and that's the hard part. Because, like, what do you have an event like what's going on in Syria with the whole allegedly, chemical strikes going on.
Conspiracy theories.
Well, I'm just saying. Because
this guy's happy. This guy right there is excited.
Okay, because we can go there. I mean, it's still relevant to what I'm saying because it's like I know this sounds a little crazy, but you can't always 100% prove what's going on over there. Like the images that you're
let me just dive in real quick because I've been just listening to you guys for a minute there. All right, so let me just explain real quick what's going on in Syria as best as I know.
Sure.
Syria is basically in the middle of a civil war. Mm-hmm. You have the actual government fighting ISIS, which is taking over the country.
Right.
And you don't know who ISIS is. They blend into the population. So the government looks like what they're doing is they're gassing everybody. They're like, oh, we'll get the majority of the ISIS. But in the midst of it, they're killing women, children, and non-combatant civilians. Right? So America's like, no, we drew a red line, last year. Remember, I don't know if you remember last year there was a gas attack and America bombed an airfield.
Yeah, I remember that one.
So they drew a red line. They said, don't cross that line.
Sure.
They crossed it again, so we bombed them again. So that's what's going on over there. The way I kind of look at it is if America was the Federation and Syria would be just another planet altogether. Yeah. Would the Federation get involved in that if there was a civil war?
That's where, exactly. That's what I was asking the question. In what form are you relating the two? And that's the only way I could imagine relating the question, right? I mean. Syria would have to be. Right, Syria? Did I get it wrong there? It would have to be.
Planet, sorry.
It would have to be, a different planet. And in very simply, the answer would be. We have to first determine, are they warp capable? So they if they're warp capable, then it's an issue that we're not going to get involved with because part of the Prime Directive, when we're dealing with other alien races, is that
less evolved species we wouldn't get involved.
We wouldn't get involved with less evolved species, and we wouldn't get involved with a species that is at war with itself. And isn't that what is happening?
Yeah.
This country is at war with itself.
People like factions,
but
it is in itself.
Yeah, in the country itself.
In the country, So there's multiple. So it's at war with itself. That despite us intervening as the U.S. or any other government.
We got to look at it like this too. Let's say they were a less developed country, a less developed planet, right? There's another bigger, more developed planet that's backing up one of the sides already. They're backing up a side.
Yeah, you can factor that in.
So you're gonna say, okay, if
the Romulans.
The Romulans are backing.
That's why the Romulans are always associated to me.
Yeah, but the
Russians.
Actually, I remember that.
But remember, the Romulans help elect the Federation president. So.
Wow.
That's good.
Going nerdy. We're going nerdy.
There's your fan fiction. Somebody write it, please.
So this is where the conspiracy theories. This is where the conspiracy theories lie. We were just watching Alex Jones with Making the Frogs Gay and all that, right? Like as we're getting stuff set up.
We're on screen. Go ahead, put up the website.
No, go ahead, put it on. But Alex Jones is a very big conspiracy theorist. He said that Sandy Hook, the shooting, didn't happen, right? So now a lot of people are like, how can you say that? He's like, oh, it's a false flag operation so we can take away the guns.
Sure.
I'm seeing the same thing happen when people say, who knows if they got gas? It was probably fake. We're just doing that to get involved.
To me,
it equates, huh?
So you don't buy into, like, you don't see it that way. You don't see it as like it's like manufacturing consent in people. Like you want people to think that
You're talking about false flag operation. You ever heard?
Sure, we could say that. Yeah. Well, pretty much. Yeah.
To me, I look at it both as I feel like a lot of false flag operations are very non-factual, Like you have to have facts to back it up. Like the one with the Sandy Hook, there's no facts.
Sure.
I think the one in Syria is harder to prove because we don't have feet on the ground actually telling us. We have to take it from news accounts.
That's sure.
But also, there's another planet. Let's say the Vulcans. They investigated Syria and they said, "Hey, we have proof that they was using gas."
Who would?
Those would be France.
But that doesn't help because isn't France?
You know what's disturbing?
With the United States, so you're like, it's like a backdoor way of trying to convince people that this.
Well, that's why I said the Vulcans because the Vulcans are friendly.
I'm just saying because,
they would Vulcans would be that, right?
Yeah.
So since I don't know what I'm talking about Star Trek, didn't Gene Roddenberry he was deeply influenced by the whole Vietnam War, right? Because he's part of that generation.
I think he was.
He actually
he fought in the Vietnam War.
I believe so.
So.
It's horrible.
I'm going to assume, based off of that he got the whole Prime Directive thing based off, what happened in Vietnam. Like, you just get involved in a country that you think you're helping, but you're really not. Like, did he base his idea of that from that? Or, I mean, I could just check Wikipedia, but it's Wikipedia, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
And I have YouTube here anyways. I'm sure you know your Star Trek.
We know what we can do. We can put it in the show notes and stuff.
What? Look that up. I hope you're taking notes on that pad that I gave you.
No, I'll listen to the recording. I don't even know where the pad's at. The pad's all over there.
There you go.
Oh, man. That's hilarious. So, all right. So
my point is, just to start things off, just to make it flow naturally, do you think in a situation like this, the U.S. should intervene or it shouldn't intervene? Like, should we just let them, regardless of what's happening, solve their problems their own way?
Well, okay, so let me give you my point of view. My point of view is, let's look at the options here. The first one is non-interfering. The next one is interfering. Okay.
Sure.
If we don't interfere, we just let them have it. Let them have the whatever. They're not going to stop using gas weapons, and they're gonna make it so that it's regular in use. And what's what I'm looking for. They're just making it so that when other countries can look at them using it, they're like, okay, if they're using it, then I guess I can use it.
Right.
And it's just going to be becoming a regular thing. And, that goes against the Geneva Convention. We're not supposed to use gas weapons.
We're not supposed to
not
use
supposed
gas.
to, yeah, because it's a war crime.
Sure.
Right? All right, fine. If we do intervene, we'll stop that from happening. No women and children dying from gas attacks. But we're also getting ourselves involved in a conflict that can have far-reaching consequences. Yeah. So let's say we did bomb Syria, which we did, and there was Russian troops there. Boom! All of a sudden, now we're in war with Russia. And I think I'm trying to give the guy the benefit of that, and I think that's why Trump tweeted out, "We're going to attack them," to say, "Hey, world, we're dropping bombs over there. Pay attention. We warned you guys." So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Sure.
Saying that he, maybe a general was like, we got to let them know, because otherwise we're going to war.
Does it have to be intervening with bombs, though? Does it have to be that? Like, do you need?
It would be the better option for the Americans, because you don't want to put troops on the ground down there.
Sure.
Because they can just encounter whatever, and then you have to. You have a situation where if a troop gets left behind, you got to go back and get them. You risk fighting them getting captured. But if you just fly by, drop a bomb, and just be like, "We did it," then we accomplish our goal. Even if we bomb nothing, if it was just symbolism, saying, "Look at our might, look at our power, stop it."
But then you also have the other advanced civilization that's backing them, so that's always the issue,
Well, that's the thing. America and Russia they have this thing where they fight wars against each other.
Proxy wars. Yeah.
Proxy wars. And you see that with North Korea, South Korea, Vietnam.
Right. So that's the whole premise. Like, do you want that to just, again, if we're using the whole Star Trek imagery, do you want that on the galaxy to just unfold? To meet an end? I'm not. By the way, I'm not for gassing children. I'm being clear here.
Really, because that's what it sounds like to me.
I don't want to like I'm callous. You're like, yeah, he doesn't care about these people. Just leave them to die or whatever in a desert or something. I don't know. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just thinking out loud here. Like, it's just something that just constantly happens, and then we just put it in like the back of our heads, right?
So also remember that we are. Oh Lord, it stopped. we are on the planet with them. You know, at the end of the day, we're on the same planet. If we allow whatever country to take too much power, I'd rather America be the one with the power because at least we have a moral backing. Even though right now we're in a situation where nobody can agree and everybody's always arguing and fighting this and that, we're still, in my opinion, our morality is the highest amongst the superpowers.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because you wouldn't want Russia running this world. You know what I'm saying? Trust me. At least America, regardless of what you think of Trump, he still has people that have him on a leash.
Sure.
If you have Putin running the world, he has no leash. He's just going to do whatever he wants. He might as well be Kim Jong-un in North Korea. You know what I'm saying? So at least that's the way I see it. I'd rather us remain in power and do whatever it takes to stay in that power. Because at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, we're still in the position of being world police.
Right.
You know?
Okay, that's all right.
So, in after thinking about it, I said to myself, if the U.S. was in fact the Federation with these morals, we wouldn't get involved. And just like there are treaties with the Romulans, if we're using the analogy of which aliens is which, as long as those other species that are not part of the treaty, that are not part of the Federation of Planets, then as long as you don't touch our borders, we don't violate your space, you don't violate our space. But that situation right there, so volatile, we wouldn't get involved.
That's what the Federation would do.
That's what the Federation, it would not get involved. It would just make sure that all the other aliens agree to the treaties that they've agreed with, despite whatever status they're in. We don't get along with the Romulans, Russians. So,
do you think that there would be a leader of some sort that would lie and make maybe a fake report of some kind to force the Romulans to join our side against another country?
Not only that, but there's also Section 31, right?
Oh, that's true, yeah.
So even in the...
Can you explain that to me, please?
So Section 31 in Star Trek canon is basically a secret government that's working in the shadows behind the Federation of Planets.
They're
to
the
ensure
Illuminati of the Federation.
And their mission is to ensure that we make it.
Oh, you know what they were?
That sounds really fun.
I would equate it to S.H.I.E.L.D. They're like S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
They're undercover.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
And do we first see them... My gosh, I don't know where we first see them.
I don't know.
Is it something that's really developed in the
Star Wars? I think it's Next Generation. Don't quote me, but you definitely see them in DS9. You see them in Enterprise.
Okay.
Did you see Voyager too? Or is that the time chrono whatever?
That's a time chrono guy. No, I don't think we do see them in that era. But that's maybe something worth looking up.
Yeah, it's interesting. Section 31. Holla at me. But yeah, I think we would. I mean, at least let me rephrase that. The Federation probably wouldn't, but America, obviously they would. I also want to say I think they should.
Okay. Okay.
That's just the way.
No, I respect that. I like where you're standing on that. I just want to hear.
Because at the end of the day, you don't want to see on the news every day kids getting gassed. I think that's where the morality comes in. America's like, we're not going to stand for that crap. And it's funny because during, let's say, World War II times, America would never stand for that. They would see if they see an atrocity happening somewhere in the world, like, we got to do something about that.
Yeah.
But we've softened up as a nation. We've softened up as a nation. And I don't know why. I mean, I can guess. I have a lot of guesses.
Guy loves theories.
Conspiracy theories. Okay, so should we follow that river down or no?
That's a deep river.
Or do we?
I think
so much involved why we got so soft as a country.
I think what we should do is pick up a to be continued.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
we should do an episode of what do you think made America change from World War II to today?
Well, hold on. Like I said, take it back. And we'll try to do this again and make it a 2-part series.
We definitely should.
So that way it's a 40-minute episode and it's cut up.
Let's do
what
it.
You guys think?
Yeah.
We're good? So that's it. This is The Basement.
This Basement Beast.
Later.